Okay, let's see what's going on in the Weaver studio today. Looks like, what do you have? Cane chairs.
Yeah, I have them started. I was just getting some length set. I'm real disappointed in this bundle because there's a lot of small pieces. The first 4 steps in caning, I usually do the longer pieces, and you have to gradually pull it out slowly and shake it.
Oh, or it gets tangled like that.
Yeah. So you just have to be careful with it while it's dry. And here's a piece that got, folded that will have to be cut. I'm real disappointed because there's a lot of short pieces in here.
Oh, that's the way it comes.
Well, not necessarily, but this one happens to have a lot. This chair has the first step in it. It's front to back, and it's not quite finished. And you have to measure the center and start in the center, and go back and forth. Occasionally on a round chair, which are harder, if you're a beginner, try to get a square chair, or somewhat square. You have to skip holes to make your cane be approximately the right size. You can shift these later on. I actually set up both of these chairs a little different, and I'm anxious to see how they turn out. This one has the second step, and it goes side to side, and that's also, you have to skip holes occasionally to make the spacing correct. Also, you decide on the size of cane you're using by the hole size and the distance apart.
And these are big or small?
This is a very common size. I measured it out to fine. I was thinking I should.
Fine to the material.
Yeah, fine size to the material. Also, your cane has knots in it, and when you start caning, the knots aren't real important, but if you have a long tail left over, it could be a problem in the end. So, to find the knots, you run your finger, and there's a right side and a wrong side. The glossy side is the right side. You run your finger along. Now that is a knot, but I can tell which way it goes. This is the rough side, so you want to peg this end first. But some of them are a little more easy to figure out, and this one happens to be a hard one. And that's a short piece too. I want to put that in with the short pieces because I'm not using it right now. It'll be okay to use those when I'm doing the first weaving steps. Yeah, here's the knot it's rough this way, so you would peg this end. So, and I'm ready on this chair to do the third step. I don't want you to show this, but here's why. You're supposed to go in the same holes, but I found out that if you kind of go into the next hole, I have it figured out where this side is shorter on the right, and this side is longer on the right. And I will cane, if the next step goes to the left, or the right, I'm sorry. And so I will do the third step to the right, but I will go in these holes. And in the end, it comes out straighter, but it's not, and it doesn't even show that you did that because the other steps hide it.
Oh, so you don't want to show this because it's not the way you're supposed to do it, but it works out better.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just sneak this in at the end of the video, and only the people who really know how to do this might understand something from it.
I saw it done on a chair, and I liked it, and it did work out better. For the visual
appearance of the chair at the end.
Yeah, and it still was as strong. It wasn't any...
Okay, but beginners, do not try this at home.
Yeah, because you do have to...
So, oh, okay. So what should the beginners do? Not try this at home?
Yeah, they should stay in the same holes.
Okay, so on the 2 chairs, step 1, step 2, and what are you doing now?
Step 3. It goes over top of everything, and it should go in the same holes.
Oh, it's going the same direction as step 2.
Yeah, no, step 1.
Step 1, okay.
And you're going to... And by the way, I use caning pegs and golf tees.
Oh, there is such a thing as official caning pegs?
And when you take your cane down through the hole, you always have to have the right side showing. In other words, you don't want any twists in the cane. You want it to come out.
And you just loop it like that up over your shoulder and down to the side.
This is a long piece of cane right now. I'm trying to get in the... I'm skipping a hole to get it into the...
Couldn't you just staple something on the top of it to sit on it?
Yeah, you could do that. I have to make sure that it's coming up and around. No, I should have backed the other one in. That it's not twisted on the bottom. I'll show you the bottom. Okay. It goes down through the hole. You have to make sure it's not twisted in the hole, because that'll clog your holes. So I'm running it through my fingers.
Oh, you got to keep pushing more through those holes with each step. How many steps are there?
7.
Oh, I'm not sticking here through that.
I hope not. I can't work and do this at the same time. See, I'm going to bring it up through the next hole, too. And I'm following the first. I hate to tell you this, but I don't do the 4th and the 5th step the same either.
The same as the book.
Yeah, I do. I don't like the 4th step. It's a pain in the butt. I'm going to show you the bottom so that you see that it's not twisted. See, all of these are coming up not twisted, and it's not twisted in the holes. That helps you in future.
So all this is important.
Yeah, this is.
Whether you're a beginner or if you've done 100 and you've got your own way of doing it. Okay, well, we'll stop back for step 4. How many steps are there again?
7. And don't twist it around the rail, which I think I did. No, maybe I didn't. I don't know. Something's twisted around the rail when it's wet. So
and you've done this before. You've been doing this for how many years?
Oh, I was going to say. Since 1975, and I think that's 40-some years. I'm not sure. I did.
And these 2 chairs just came to you a mile back a dead-end dirt road. How did they find you?
I've been in business since 1970, and I did get twisted around the rail.
And it's not just 2 chairs. They brought you how many? 4 chairs.
4.
Okay, well, they've been getting a tree here, Christmas tree, for a long time, too. Okay, step 3. We'll be back for the rest.
Yeah, maybe this afternoon.
Okay, so here we now on step, what, 4 and 5?
Yeah, I'm doing step 4 now, but I also do step 5 as I come down to the end.
Okay, which one's 4?
This was 4.
Oh, okay, that's the 4th over and back thing.
It comes in front of step 2, so you always have to keep it in front to get the weaving right.
Okay.
And then when I weave across, I weave a little bit, and then to make sure my cane isn't twisted, I'll turn a little, or weave a little bit, and then pull it through, and leave a loop and pull it through. My cane's kind of splitting, and it's not working too good.
So is that an ongoing problem?
With this cane it was. It is, seems to be. But
a cane like that in the olden days, or is that a new development?
No, it happened. Actually, this cane's been very nice, but it did the end split, and when it splits on the end.
So somebody's trying to do the first chair.
Although, see now, when it comes to the strength of the cane, it's really not any less strong if it splits in the middle, but if it splits like sideways, then that's got to be cut out. You can't have that happen.
And so that's step 4, but you've also started, what's this crosswisey one?
Yeah, this one goes from right front to left rear, and it goes over the side to sides and under the up and downs, or the back and fronts.
Okay.
Back and forth. And always does
But you're still doing some of that. You're still doing some of step 4 and 5 at the same time?
Yeah. I don't like step 4, so it breaks the monotony.
Okay, so that's not in the book.
No, it's not. Actually, there is it's been years since but there was an accepted method of caning doing step 5, I think, before 4. But you do it all, I think.
Okay, so if somebody comes across books or is reading this from books, they might come up with some different methods.
Yeah. Well, some of the different patterns, I guess, is where they get that idea, too.
And so you're doing 2 chairs at once, so that must be easier with the setup because they're both exactly alike.
Well, they're not exactly alike. I set them up a little bit different. I usually don't do 2 chairs at once. But I thought
even if they're matching.
No, yeah. I usually don't. Like if somebody brings me 6 chairs, I don't want to store them. So I usually ask for 2 at a time.
And you really probably can't learn how to do a chair by watching a video, but this is just some of the things you might run into.
No. The best way to learn, I think, is to take a class or learn from somebody else, and then they can tell you the shortcuts, and a book doesn't tell you when you're wrong either. You can learn from, reading, but it doesn't tell you when you're doing the thing wrong.
Okay, and all the little differences, there are things you can come up with in different chairs.
Yeah.
Round and a square, or even just the way the same 2 chairs are drilled.
And you know what? If you have to find center, and it could be 2 holes in the center or 1 hole in the center. So on the other side of the chair, it has to be balanced. Now, I've had cane chairs where there were an odd amount of holes up here and an even amount up here, and you really had to figure that. I mean, in the end, it didn't show, but it is a problem. But it doesn't happen very often. That's somebody that drilled a chair that didn't know how to cane. He just drilled the chair, and then he had the problem.
Okay, so step 4 and 5. So what's left? 6 and 7, and we're done.
Yeah,
you'll have these things out the door.
If you consider the knots, this was my old teaching thing. This is the knots that you put on the bottom. I forgot to mention too that you leave a little on the ends. You peg the ends, and you leave a little bit, 3 to 5 inches, whatever you feel like, and then you'll put the knots in last. I do it last. I've seen it done.
Okay, after the 7 steps.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get back to that. We'll catch up with you again on 6 and 7. Okay, 6th step. Did we miss it?
Yeah, I think you did, but I have it finished now, and it goes from left front to right rear, and it goes over the front to backs and under the side to sides. It's the opposite of the 5th step.
And by this time you already showed us all the problems could arise, or at least some of them, how to knot, how to wrap it around the leg accidentally. From here on out, it should be a smooth road. So this has been great to become familiar with the 7, 10, 20 step pattern, whatever it is. What are you doing now?
I'm doing the binder on this chair, which is supposedly the last step, but actually there's knots after this. And you take the binder and put it on over the holes, and then you take
this piece hanging out here.
Yes, it is. And then you take another piece of cane and you tighten it down up over the binder and pull it down tight, and keeping your fingers
look at that
on it the whole time. I do several of these at a time so that I don't have to run the cane through my fingers all the time. And then I pulled that one out. And then once I get this down in, I can show you the knots. Now this chair has the second diagonal done on it. That one doesn't. Okay. So then you have loose ends.
Oh, so this is the last step, and then you're going to take us to the next to the last step.
Well, no, this is actually not even included as a step.
Oh, okay.
Okay. There's ends that you have to tie off, and you start by sliding the end wrong side up under. Then you put the tail through the hole that you make, and then here's one that I'm going to tighten down. And you pull it, put your finger on the, and there you go. And then you've got a nice little knot, and then you take the scissors, if I can find them. There they are. And you cut the end short. Now there are other ways of, you can peg the holes, but on this chair I choose, and there's a tuck finish too. That's basically
okay, so all that's left is for us to come back and see the finished product.
Not much.
So 2 finished chairs.
Yeah.
And you deliver too.
Yeah, I do. It's only when it's convenient.
Oh, okay.
This is on the way to...
Oh, well, look at that. They should be real happy.
Yeah, they're nice on the bottom, too. I do a nice smooth finish. You know, the knots are...
Okay, we deliver. Okay, we deliver.
Yeah, well, are you going to help me carry them?
No. Okay, so do subscribe and stop back for the occasional weaver on Potter's Journal.